Hi, I'm Radeesha J, and today we're talking about Afghan women, a group of women that have faced oppression for many years.
Mr. Da Vinci, Zayn Malik's Middle Eastern. Is his life a struggle?
No, Caleigh. Zayn Malik from the now Point 8 direction did not suffer through the years of Taliban rule, years without jobs, without rights. Afghan women were not allowed to vote, work, or even go in public in certain clothes.
What?
Before the Taliban, and even before Afghanistan itself, the rulers were far more benevolent towards women. Under the rule of Abdur Rahman Khan and later King Amanullah, women were given extensive rights, including, but not limited to, the right to leave their husbands at any time during their marriage, and the right to go outside without having their faces covered. They made groundbreaking advancements in women's rights for Islamic states. Unfortunately, history fluctuates in condition, and women's rights goes right along with it. Under the regimes of the people that proceeded after King Amanullah, women's conditions took a sharp decline. Women and girls lost means of education, and traditions that detriment females, such as polygamy, sprouted up again. Women's futures brightened once more under the reign of Muhammad Zahir Shah and Muhammad Daoud. Shah helped women weave their ways into better jobs in healthcare and even in government. Daoud allowed females to go unveiled at certain times in public once more. This is when Afghani women began to see their future's potential. They held protests in hopes of improving their conditions further. Then, in the late 1970s and early 1980s, Soviets took over the land. They applied their communist ideas to Afghanistan. Women got equal job opportunities to men. Also, girls no longer could be married off at extremely young ages. In the early 1990s, when Soviet power was overthrown, an intense power struggle arose. Women's education disappeared altogether, and they were forced to wear burqas at all times. Then came the Taliban, the ultimate blow to Afghani women. A time began where women would be treated more like cattle than human beings. Although the Taliban may not have such a tight hold on Afghanistan today, women still struggle for equal rights in many parts of the Middle East. This is a place where corporal punishment is allowed and prevalent. Afghanistan had a bright future ahead of her in its infancy, but now women are being marginalized in that country. Although there are small victories every day, it's going to take a lot of work to erase any trace of the sexism that currently tears apart women's lives.
The open letter! Oh look, it's a diamond earring. For me? Oh, you shouldn't have, mister.
Now I ain't saying she a gold digger, but she ain't messing with no.
What's wrong with you guys? My diamond earring came off in the ocean and it's gone. Kim, there's people that are dying.
To Kim Kardashian. Courtney's right. People are actually dying. And getting hurt. Innocent women or girls are having acid thrown at their face just for seeking public education.
A face scarred for life by fanatics. Just 17 years old, Shamsia's crime? She was walking to school, a girls' school in Kandahar. Doctors have managed to save her eyesight, but she was still too shocked and in too much pain to talk to us. On the next bed, her sister Latifa, 16 years old. She told me two men on a motorcycle had thrown the contents of a black bottle over them. It was battery acid. We will go to school and fight, she defiantly told me.
Unfortunately, the situation is not getting better. The feminist movement has been sweeping the world, but does not seem to be helping women in Afghanistan. If 80% of the nation is illiterate, then it should be fine for them to seek an education. In modern society, we know knowledge and education is the way to success in an improved world. So why are these women constantly hindered? Kim, you can continue to name your children after the cardinal directions, but take a hint from Courtney every once in a while. Don't be quick to marry randos and acknowledge the horrors existing in today's world. Best wishes, Mrs. K.
In regards to education, Afghanistan was once a modernizing society. Almost 25% of university students were women. 6% of doctors, 28% of teachers and 30% of civil servants were also women. While this may not be as egalitarian as American society, it still shows that we're getting somewhere. So you may be asking yourself, what happened? To completely understand this, we have to go back to the Soviet-Afghan War. A communist party in Afghanistan arose in 1965. In response to a Russian control freak, Brezhnev, one commented, "We will never allow you to dictate us how to run our country and whom to employ in Afghanistan. Afghanistan shall remain poor, if necessary, but free in its acts and decisions." This clear nationalism that arose with the communist leader, Daoud, led to his assassination. The new government, however, suffered peasant uprisings leading to turmoil throughout Afghanistan. Ultimately, the Taliban party, seemingly stable and with Afghanistan's best interests at heart, took control.
Mr. Da Vinci, didn't the same thing happen with Hitler?
This has been a common theme throughout world history, a corrupt leader taking over by swooning the people. In this case, their strict adherence to Islam gave hope to the commoners, as religion usually does. Islamic modesty for women became extreme. Women were forced to wear burqas in public, full body coverage including the eyes. For some women, wearing a burqa or hijab is empowering when in other countries. It reveals their ability to preserve religion in a very secular society. However, all feel that the patriarchal push of covering one's body and face in public is too much. Women want to have a reason and a way of wearing hijabs and burqas, a way that makes them happy. With more on how Taliban rule has affected women on a personal level, here's Mrs. K with an Afghan woman, a woman with a story. I'm happy to be with you here in Poland.
Let's get started. How has being an Afghan woman affected you and your dreams?
Because I am an Afghan woman, I didn't have the dreams that women like you had. I grew up knowing what I was bound to become. When Americans think of Afghan women, they think, how could we ever live like this? But for us, we never had an option. We were destined to be slaves, and if we spoke out against that, we were dead without a second thought.
You are one of 13% of Afghan women who are literate. That's a major success for you, correct?
Yes, it is a major success for me. Growing up, I never thought this is how my life would turn out, and I'm grateful for that.
You were 12 when you were forced to marry a 30-year-old Afghan man, and then had a child when you were 14. How does that feel?
Well, when I was 12, I thought this is how my life would be, and I would be stuck with that man for the rest of my life, just like most of the other women. But I am lucky enough to be one of the 7% of Afghan women who were able to run away and find freedom in a new country.
Quickly, can we talk about your son?
26% of Afghan babies are taken from a terrorist party, and unfortunately, my son was one of them. My son was taken right from my hands when I was walking down the street. I tried to save him, but it was 1 against 5, and they brutally beat me. I was in a public place when it happened, yet no one said anything, and most acted like they didn't even notice.
That's terrible. Can you just briefly give us an idea of what it's like growing up in Afghanistan as a woman?
It's hard. It really is. People around the world have charities and foundations to help us, but money can't solve this problem. Even with money, we have no freedom. I mean, women in Afghanistan still have hardly any freedom. It wasn't just during the Taliban time.
You're right. In 2009, the president passed a law allowing husbands to starve their wives if they refuse their sexual demands.
Exactly. Women are ruled by their husbands. When I was still in Afghanistan with my husband, I had to stay home all day cooking and cleaning for him. If he came home and didn't like what food I made him, he would beat me. Even if he just came home in a bad mood, he would beat me. This would happen several times a day. I was one of the very few able to get away from it all. My friend was not so lucky. She attempted to run away, and when he found her, he tortured her before eventually killing her.
The worst part of these stories is that I know the husbands don't get in trouble.
Yeah, the government does not believe it to be a crime because Afghan women are not looked at as real people, rather as a belonging, and people can do whatever they want to their belongings.
It's truly terrible.
Even just walking around, men will spit on women for no reason.
What? It's terrible. What happens if you just go shopping for say?
We can't without our husbands, and if we do, we cannot talk because our voices should not be able to be heard.
It's terrible. Women in Afghanistan can't do anything.
Not even the smallest thing. We're not even allowed to paint our nails due to the new laws.
Afghan women, beyond doubt, have struggled and continue to do this today. This was Mrs. K with
Asha.
Reporting live from Poland.
Thank you, Mrs. K. This isn't the extent of women's suffrage in Afghanistan. In 2009, recently, the president passed a rape law that allowed husbands to starve their wives if they don't adhere to their demands in the bedroom. Women cannot get out of this, however, because not only are most married at the age of 12, but 80% are forced into marriages. Men are allowed to attack women without facing any sort of legal punishment. In the past 2 years, more than 1,900 cases of violence have been reported. And if they try to escape, they will be imprisoned, like 60% of Afghan women who have been punished for moral crimes. It is shameful that 87% of Afghan women have endured violence. All these charges were put into place by the Taliban. There is no escape. They are not allowed to go in the public alone or wear cosmetics or even high heels. Women should have equal rights to men, and most societies are evolving. For some reason, Afghan women are not gaining these rights, and we need to do something to change that. This is Uniqua Donatello from SRC Productions. Join us next time for a wild debate on Zayn Malik versus Louis Tomlinson, as well as a discussion on nuclear physics. We are a growing world civilization and should not live like the backward nomadic tribes of before. Well, all nomadic tribes except for, wait for it, the Mongols. Adios, sayonara, au revoir, goodbye. Go.
Mr. Da Vinci! What? What? How is being an Afghan woman? Oh, poo.
Okay.
No, let's just take it off. Hold the glass. We're just taking it off.
Okay.
I don't think the table looks that ratchet. So let's get started, shall we? Take your seats. That's all. Cut! You feeling so fun.
We have practiced the flips.
Men are allowed to attack women without facing any sort of legal punishment. In the past 2 years, more than 1,900 cases of violence have been
Following the life of Ella.
Keep that in there. We're pushing my dog.
Keep it rolling.
Ella.
Okay.
Come here, pretty girl.
I tried going to school. They said, no, you can't ever be here, 'cause you are a female. I went to school, tried to get a job. They said, no, 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 honey, go get married. Something that I did now. We have cherries and foundations, but we still have no money, 'cause we have nothing. So get up, get out of my way, 'cause I am here to stay. We don't expect to be king, but we want
watching. Good night, AP World History. I love ya.
Making my way downtown, walking fast, faces pass and I'm homebound.